of living organisms.
Living organism.
Okay, the study of living organisms is referred to as the biology, we can say. Now, from which word it is derived? So, the biology is actually derived from a Greek word, okay, and the meaning is bios. There are two words, okay, and logy. So, here bios refers to life and logy refers to study or to understand something. So, in simple, biology refers to the study of the living life and living organisms. Now, in this particular chapter, that is chapter number 1, what we will try to understand is what are the defining feature or what are the characters that you can assign to something that is living. Typically, we know that in class we have learned regarding the life processes, different, the life processes like nutrition, respiration, and excretion, digestion. You have learned, but can we reproduction also you have learned? But can we call those processes as a defining feature? Now, what do you mean by a defining feature? Right? What I'm saying is we are talking about a defining feature. That is something, a particular feature that is present only in the living organisms and it is absent in the non-living organisms. Right? So we're going to try to find out what are the features that are exclusively found in living organism. And if anything, right, anything in our surrounding that is going to exhibit that particular property, that particular feature, in that case, we will call that as a living organism or living creature. Now, a simple question again to you all people, can you tell me any feature that you think is a defining feature or a unique feature of the living organisms? Question to you all.
Sir, growth.
Growth, okay, and?
Yes, sir.
Somebody else?
Reproduction.
Reproduction, okay, you are saying, okay, I'll write down one by one. So, as you are saying, one you are saying is growth, second you said is reproduction.
The respiration.
Okay, you
Sir,
said
movement.
okay, I'm going to write down that is let's say movement means I hope you are referring to locomotion.
Locomotion.
Yes, exactly.
Nutrition.
Mechanism, sir.
Nutrition. Okay. Okay, good.
Mechanism, sir.
What mechanism? Can you tell me what mechanism you are talking to?
Sir, metabolism.
Oh, metabolism. Okay, yes, that is also. Let's see, is a feature. Let's see again. Okay, I'll write down here. That is number 7. Metabolism. Anything else do you think is going to be a defining feature? Okay, let us start with all of these one by one. Let us start to question whether what we are saying is right or wrong. So we said that growth is a defining feature. Now growth means what? Growth means in typical case, it is the increase in the cell number and the cell size or the mass of the organism. So when we talk about increase in cell number and cell size, right? Typically, we refer that to as growth. And typically, all the living organisms we know, they are actually growing. So I'm going to put forward a question to you all. The question is very simple. You know, let's say a mountain or a boulder or simply an ice cream, do they grow, do they increase in size over time? If we allow them to grow or stay for some time, will they grow in the size or not? Please try to answer.
Sir, they can go through external support.
They can grow through external support. All the living organisms that we are talking about, even they grow with the help of external support. For example, if I say that I grow and we all grow, what we are saying? We are growing with the help of the nutrition from outside, that is food from outside, oxygen from outside, water from outside, right? We are getting support from outside, external. So, can you tell me, as I said, yes.
Sir, please repeat the question once again.
My question is, as I said, growth is a defining feature. You all said. Some of you have said. So my question is very simple. I am saying that something like a boulder, something like a mountain or ice cream, they are also growing. So if this is a defining feature, then I can say that growth is a feature for non-living person, because I'm pretty sure that I cannot consider ice cream or I cannot consider your mountain or boulders as a living organism. And if the growth is a living organism, if growth is going to be a defining feature, we have to consider those, for example, the mountains or boulders as living organisms. So justify it.
Sir, I can
Yes.
Sir, I can justify the growth of mountains as the movement of tectonic plates may cause the mountains growth of mountains.
Yes. Yes. Geographically, that is right. Yes. But biologically, can
In
be
case
yes.
In case of ice creams, temperature is a factor.
Temperature is a factor, very good. But they are growing. So you are saying that they are growing. You said that growth is a defining feature. So I will consider mountains and ice cream as living creatures. I'm pretty sure that's not the answer, right? So we'll answer
No,
why
sir,
this
in
is.
case
Then
of
it isn't a growing.
sir, in-
Sir, it isn't a
sir, in
defining
ca-
feature.
It is not a defining feature. Okay. So we'll try to again answer that. We're quite good question as this single one. Now the second one. Okay. I'll show you a PPT where I've written all these things down. I'll show you for you. So second thing coming to reproduction. So when some of you had said that the organism being able to reproduce basically qualifies the organism to be a living, okay, to be a living creature. Something if it can replicate, if it can become two from one, then in that case we will say that that particular thing is a living creature. Now we all know that humans reproduce, animals reproduce, plants reproduce, microbes also reproduce, planaria, bacteria, hydra, fungi, all of these reproduce by different means. For example, you have sexual mode and you have asexual mode. Both you have sexual mode, asexual mode. And also there is a third type that we can call as a vegetative reproduction. Right? You have learned these things in class 10th. Dear student, next time please be on time. Again, one by one, I have to allow people. So next time please be on time. Anyway, so as I said, there are three different categories of mode of reproduction. So if organism is going to follow any one of these, we will say that the organism is living if reproduction is a defining feature. Now, again a question I'm going to ask. What about a couple, like a human couple, who are infertile? They have been married, but they are not able to have progeny. They are not able to have kids. Can you consider them as, because in that case there is no reproduction, they will not be able to give access to new organisms. So, can we consider this as a non-defining feature? Second question. We are going to have something called, you cannot remove that. Yes, I like it. There is something called mule. How many of you know what mules are? How many of you are aware of something called mule?
infertile and
Infertile. Okay.
Understood.
So yes, good. So when you're going to have a combination, a progeny or a offspring that is formed by the combination of a horse and a donkey, and that progeny is typically infertile, and that is what we're going to be referring to as mule. So mule is a living organism, but it can never reproduce. Similarly, another example I'll give you, right, in case of honeybee. And in the honeybee, the male honeybee, right, the drones, they typically cannot reproduce. They are typically sterile, right? So in both, these two are what? They are sterile. Sterile means they are non-fertile. They cannot produce offspring. Now, are they living or non-living? Again, if you think they are, of course, we all know living. So, although the reproduction process seems like a very important event for the organism to be living or non-living, but we cannot consider this process as a defining feature, as we have cases, we have examples where the organism is surviving, the organism is living, but it is not going to reproduce. So again, reproduction is a non-defining feature. It cannot define something that is living. Next, third one, respiration. Respiration again, all the organisms are going to use this one. This one will come under, let's say we talk about under it, metabolism process. Locomotion, okay, that's kind of movement, but again, you know, there are certain organisms, you learn that they are sessile organisms. Sessile means, right, something called sessile and motile. Right, sessile means these organisms cannot move, and motile means the organism that can move. So we have both the sessile and motile organisms. So again, that is not going to be a important point in our discussion. Next, nutrition. Nutrition again, we'll talk when we talk about metabolism. Response to stimuli. We'll come back to this. Now, metabolism. Anybody can tell me what metabolism means? What do you mean by metabolism?
The sum of chemical reactions occurring in our body, sir.
Okay, your name please?
Sahitya, sir.
Right, good. So the sum
Sir.
total, yes.
Excuse,
Yes,
sir. The sum total of anabolism and catabolism, like the add-up reactions and breakdown reactions, are known as.
Excellent. So when we say the sum total of the chemical reactions in a body, in not only in our body but entire living organism, you talk about any organism that is living, they are going to have the metabolic reactions or metabolism, and we all know that it is of two types, because I hope in class 10 you all should be knowing about it, and that is called anabolism and catabolism. Right. So in simple term, anabolism refers to build-up reaction. Okay. So what do you mean by build-up reaction? We are creating something. Something is being generated. So to give an example, we are going to have the production of glucose, right? So we are going to have production of photosynthesis, you know. So photosynthesis is an anabolic process where simple carbon dioxide, carbon basically we are using to produce a complex C6H12O6. Now the next is catabolism. Catabolism, remember, it refers to breakdown reaction. Breakdown reaction. So, can anybody give me an example of this? Again, you all must be knowing about it. Anyone?
Respiration, sir.
Very good. Respiration. What
Digestion.
happens? Regular respiration. In respiration, what we do? We take in the oxygen and we remove the CO2. So, is that a catabolic process? I doubt it. Try again.
Digestion, sir.
Sir, breakdown of glucose into energy.
Exactly. So, breakdown of glucose into the simpler constituents,
ATP.
thereby getting ATPs. Finally, we get the ATP. So, what do you call the process? What do you call the process there? Can you tell me what you call it? Tell me.
Cellular respiration.
Exactly. So, that process is called cellular respiration and not respiration. Remember, respiration is a physical process, a biological process, but cellular respiration is a physiological process. Okay. Clear? Any doubt till now? Are you clear till now, dear students?
No,
No, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So what I am saying is, in metabolism we have two types: catabolism and anabolism, and one is build-up reaction, one is breakdown reaction. And what you have to keep in mind is that every single organism, right? If something is living, every living organism, right? Organism or entity exhibits metabolism. That you have to keep in mind. So any organism you talk about, very simple or the most advanced, in all the cases there is going to be metabolism or metabolic reactions. So now can we call this as a defining feature? Yes, metabolism is going to be a defining feature of living organism. It's a defining feature. Now I'm going to ask another question. In chemistry lab, you all do experiments, right? Those experiments, for example, you take some chemicals, you add with certain reactants, and you get a product out of it. Now imagine you are going to take an living system like an enzyme, and to that enzyme you are going to make the reaction, or the enzyme is going to be involved in a reaction that is taking place outside the body, and that is called in vitro in glass, or it is called in vitro condition. So when an experiment, or when you are doing an experiment where you are involving a metabolic reaction, enzyme living from the human body or any organism, and doing an experiment in a in vitro condition or in a glass, basically outside the body, in that case, can we call that a that process as living or non-living? Did you understand my question? We are going to perform an experiment or perform a chemical reaction, a biological reaction outside the body, but in a glass condition, that is called in vitro condition. So in that case, can we call them living or non-living?
No,
Because
sir,
they
we
are,
can't call them living.
why? Because I am using the living, enzymes, from living organism. We cannot call it living. So there is something has to be linked here, right? So here what we do, we of course do not call it living. Instead, we call it a living reaction. So they are neither living nor non-living, but instead we refer that to as a living reaction. That you keep in mind. Now, last thing is going to be response to the stimuli. Right? Response to stimulus means response to environmental factors. Right? Stimulus means what? Anybody can tell me what stimulus are? Anybody can tell me what stimulus are? Yes or no? You know stimulus
Sir,
or not? Yes?
Sir, it's an external touch or
Can do
force which
Okay, anything that is
it's an
external that is going to bring about certain changes, certain response in the body of the organism. You talk about simple organism or you talk about the most complex organism. When there is going to be a response generated by the body, by the living organism, in response to something that is foreign, in response to something that is coming from outside, we will call that as a stimulus or stimuli. And this property, right, this property of response to stimuli is again a defining feature of living organism. If any organism cannot, anything that cannot respond to external stimuli, in that case, we cannot definitely refer that to as a living organism. So I'll give you one example. So what I'm holding here is the duster. Now a duster, or for example this box. So I'm pretty sure that they are non-living, because here none of the property that we are talking about is going to be exhibited by this particular box. They cannot even respond to the stimuli. Now you talk about a very simple organism. You talk about, let's say, the bacteria. Now, bacteria do not have the well-developed, neural system or the chemical coordination system like the hormones that we all have. But they are. Can you all hear? Can you hear or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here,
Yes, sir.
somebody again is going to ask. So what I'm saying is, if any simple organism like amoeba, like bacteria, they respond to the stimuli. They are aware of the external stimulus, right? External, outside, external environment, they are aware of what is going on. But remember, human beings, they are the only one who are aware of themselves. In other words, what we can say is humans are aware of themselves or aware of the self. That's why they have consciousness. Right? So humans are the only organism who are having consciousness. They are aware of what is going on outside, and they are also aware of what is actually going on inside, or they are aware of the self. So again, the response to stimuli again is very important, and it is again a defining feature of something that is living. So out of the features that I said, growth, reproduction, then I said your metabolism and response to stimuli. Remember, growth and reproduction, they are not a defining feature of a living organism, and I told you why they are not. Now, when we talk about metabolism, they are a defining feature as they are found in every single living organism. And also, when we talk about response to stimuli or consciousness, this is again something that you will find in every single living organism. Am I clear? Am I clear with this? Should we move forward?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
great.
sir.
Yes,
Thank you all.
sir.
Thank you all. So we are having
Sir,
10
I have a
minutes.
doubt, sir.
Yes, sir. Please ask.
Sir, sir,
Yes.
what about dead bodies?
Okay, dead body, of course, because they're dead bodies, they are what do you call? They do not have life, and they're first thing they are actually brain dead, and they are also clinically dead. There are two categories: brain dead and clinically dead. So when we say somebody is dead, there is no life, right? There is no metabolic reactions. There is nothing that is going on inside the dead body that can tell or that will tell that it is living. Simple. Because they are not having any feature, they are not having any metabolism, no movement, no cellular growth, or any kind of development, they are simply going to be referred to as non-living entities. Because after,
Sir,
after
in case
that,
of brain hemorrhage,
in case of brain hemorrhage, it's a unique condition because in that we cannot call them as kind of non-living. We cannot call them non-living. They are living, but they are simply unaware of what's going on the outer side. And because of that, because the brain is not working, that's why they will not be able to respond to stimuli. But they are very well alive because the other features are working.
Sir,
Right? Metabolism is going on. Yes.
Sir, in case of snake, what is happening, sir?
In case of snake,
Yes, sir.
snake is of course living organism. What is doubt in that?
Sir,
Snake.
sir, after they have been cutted, they are sometimes alive, no, sir.
No. There is no word like cutted. Okay, first thing. Okay, it's just simply cut. Okay, first thing. When you are talking about snake, if you cut the snake will be dead. Very simple. There are organisms. There are certain simple organisms like planaria or Spirogyra. For example, planaria. Let us talk about that. When you cut the planaria, we are going to get a new planaria because they have this ability. There's certain specialized cells that will allow the planaria to regrow the entire body. They may be able to regrow the entire body. So in that case, of course, till the time they are able to reproduce or they are able to regenerate the entire body, they are living. Only when you do not
sir,
see
doubt, sir.
the metabolism or you do not see the response to stimuli, you are going to be telling them as dead. Yes. Name.
Sir, doubt.
What is your name?
Sir, Deepak.
Deepak, tell me.
Sir, is cellular organization a defining feature of living organism, sir?
As I said, yes, that is a defining feature, cellular organism, because as I said, when we talk about the metabolism, as I said, there are going to be anabolism and catabolism, and there are going to be biochemical reactions going on. They are going to be responsible for cellular organization in the cell. So, cellular organization or metabolism, you can write both. Both are going to refer to the same thing. That is a defining feature. Good point. I
Sir?
skipped that.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please.
Sir,
Sir, is death and lifespan
response.
a defining feature?
Lifespan will not be a defining feature. Is something that is able to grow for, let's say, even a few minutes or few days. Bacteria lives for 20 minutes. They are living here. There's no problem in that. Bacteria, bacteria's life cycle is only for 20 minutes. They're all well living. And something like or some other organisms they grow for days, some of them they live for years, right? It all depends on the organism and the environment they are in and the adaptation that they have developed over the time. So your lifespan is not a defining feature. That is going to tell us that yes,
Sir, what
it will
about,
live for so long. Yes.
Sir, what about patients in coma?
Yes, as I said, somebody who's having brain hemorrhage or coma, they will be living because there is going to be metabolic reactions. But they do not exhibit one feature that is going to be response to stimuli because that
Response to stimuli.
yes, they don't show that. And because of that, you simply cannot
Yes.
tell they're dead. They are very well having a metabolic reactions in them. Okay. Because of certain part.
Thank you.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So response to stimuli and consciousness both are the same feature.
Pratima, right?
Yes.
What is the name? Yes, okay. Pratima Sahu, I guess. I think that's the name. So anyway, Pratima, what I am going to say is response to stimuli means anything that where we are talking about the organism organism is able to respond to the outside factors. Now, consciousness, as I said, it is going to be found only in case of human beings, right? We are aware what is going on outside, and we are aware of ourselves also. So, consciousness strictly refers to the response to stimuli in case of human beings. That's all. Otherwise, it is the same thing when we talk about the feature of living to the response to stimuli and consciousness. So when we talk about the defining feature,
Yes,
it is the
sir.
same thing. Anything else?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, sir. Name?
Sir,
Sritesh.
in case no, I'm Sakti Swarupanda, sir. Indeed, we are interacting with the same device. My phone's display has been
No,
damaged.
I know, I heard that. Yes, tell me.
Sir, in case of locomotion,
Yes.
the living organisms require nutrients, I mean energy for movement, right?
Yes,
But
exactly.
and in case of the non-living things, let's take an example of football. We are kicking it for its movement.
Yes.
So our kick is the nutrient for the football for its movement, and we require the nutrients for our locomotion. What is the difference between them?
Okay. So when we talk about movement or
Take a
locomotion,
straight flag on it.
Sahiti, switch off your microphone. So when we're talking about the living organism and the locomotion in them, the energy must come from the nutrients that are actually, or the nutrition that is actually inside the body. We're not talking about anything external, right? Externally, if you start giving energy, then that is not going to work. So when we are going to have the energy that is going to be generated inside the body of the organism, only then the locomotion is happening. At that time only we are going to call that as a living organism showing the locomotion. Otherwise, it is not locomotion. It is simply, I would say, the motion you learn in physics, right? Motion. We use the word locomotion here because of locomotory organs. Again, those things are also there.
Sir, in case of reproduction, you said that it's not a defining feature because of the mules.
Yes, I gave two examples,
So
both examples. Yes.
yeah, those can be taken as yeah,
Exception, you are saying?
exceptional case. Yeah, exceptional cases.
So what did I
And
say in the beginning? In the beginning, I said there's something like we talked about so many features. So I said defining feature is what? Defining feature is something that is going to be used across the organism, across all the range without exception. If there is no exception, only then we are going to call that as a defining feature. For example, your metabolism, there is no exception to that. Every single living organism will exhibit metabolism. Response to stimuli, whether simple, advanced, unicellular, multicellular, they will show response to stimuli if they are living. So these two I am saying as the defining feature: cellular organization or metabolism, consciousness or response to stimuli. These two have certain exceptions. That is why they are not actually referred to as defining feature. They are a feature, but they are not a defining feature. That we keep in mind.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
so as you told, humans are self-conscious. Then a
Yes.
patient with coma cannot be called as self-consciousness. Sir.
That
So
is
it
what
is
I said from the
exceptional.
beginning. That is already explained twice. I'll explain again. When we are talking about patient in coma, their metabolic reactions are going on. That's why they're living, but they cannot respond to stimuli because the brain is not working properly. Certain organs are not working. Because of that, we cannot call them non-living. They are living, very much they're living, but they do not actually respond to the stimuli. They are not conscious about what's going on. That's the difference between a normal person and a
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, Mehra.
Sir, what about adaptation, sir?
What adaptation you are talking about?
Sir, defining features or no?
Adaptation will not be a defining feature. With adaptation, we talk in terms of evolution. So when an organism is going to evolve, only then we talk about adaptation. If organism is not evolving, how adaptation will come? So adaptation is very important, or it basically comes into play when we talk about evolution. So organism gets adapted to that particular environment, but again, that will not be a defining feature. For example, if I am able to live, we all human beings are able to live in a environment without water, or in an environment, terrestrial environment, for example. But there are organisms which are living in aquatic environment. So our adaptation enables us to live outside water. It will not allow us to live inside water. So there is again first and most exception between us and other organisms. And as I said, living defining feature means a feature without exception. But when you talk about adaptation, you are talking about a feature present only in one organism, and they are not present in every organism. Understood? Behra, clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Fine. Okay. Any other doubts, students? I think there are a lot of doubts we are having. First class, I guess. Now we are able to hear.
No more.
Okay, fine. So, 2 minutes. So, I had a PowerPoint presentation to show you all. Anyway, time is up today. So, tomorrow we'll briefly go through all of these, and then we'll talk about a very important concept on biodiversity and binomial nomenclature. So, 9th class you have learned about binomial nomenclature, am I right? We'll recapitulate that. And with little addition.
Yes, sir.
Little addition. I hope you remember
Yes,
some
yes,
of that. I hope you remember some of that.
Yes,
And if you have forgotten, no problem at all. Tomorrow we are going to learn again. So after that, you have to remember these things. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So,
Yes, sir.
so I have a question again. Last class, I had asked you all to write down the definitions or your understanding on anatomy, physiology, and morphology. So right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick somebody from the participants list, and I'm going to ask a question if that is okay with you. If you know, answer it. If you do not know, no problem at all. So there is a person by Nihar Pandit. Nihar, are you online? Nihar, can you tell me what do you mean by anatomy? Quickly, we have 5 minutes. What do you mean by anatomy? Nihar, are you online? Sohani, can you tell? Anatomy, yes or no? Just tell yes or no. At least we'll know. Now all are silent. Okay, who can tell me what is anatomy? Anyone? Anyone who can tell me what is anatomy?
Sir, it is a biological term concerned with the identification or description of the body structures.
Very good. Pratima again, I guess. So we are talking about internal organization of the organism. Yes. Now, who can tell me what physiology is?
I can.
Yes.
The
study of
function
and mechanics
in a living
system.
Sir, physiology is the branch of biology that deals with the normal function of living organism and their parts.
Okay. So it talks about functioning of a biological process. How a biological process works, that process we study in terms of physiology. And who can tell me what is morphology? Very simple. Morphology should be very easy. Morphology.
I can.
The study of the external parts.
Study of the external structure.
How they are formed and the relationship to other words in the same language.
Okay. Sujata, right? Sujata, can you repeat again?
Tulsi.
Okay, Tulsi, please repeat again.
It is the study of words, how they are formed and their relationship to other words in the same language.
Not exactly morphology. Somebody, Anjali? Anjali, definition of morphology. Okay, anybody else who can tell me what morphology is?
Yes, sir. Can I?
Sir, yes, sir.
Yes, please tell.
It deals with the study of the form and structure of the organisms and their external features.
Very good, Nilima. Good job. So when we talk about the features of an organism externally, right? How it looks, how it appears, how it has been organized on the external side, We call that as the study of morphology. So these are the three things that I had asked in the last class. I hope you all are clear. If not, read up. These are the things that we are going to learn in the
Yes,
first part
sir.
of this chapter. So in the next 2 chapters, we might be able to complete. This is a very small chapter. I'm going to go slow. Maybe within the next 2 or 3 periods, the chapter might be over. I hope all of you have the textbooks. If you do not have the textbooks, please give me a personal message. I'll see what can be done. Okay. And next class, try to be on time. First 5 minutes, right? Once we share the link, 5 minutes to 7 minutes will allow you to log in. After that, it is simply becoming distracting. I have to go here again, allow everybody. A little bit problem. So try to be on time. So thank you all for participating today. Let's meet in the
Thank you, sir.
class.
Thank you, sir.
Thank